I guess it's not horrible, but so moving right along. And I talk a lot about bet sizing and stuff like that, especially in relation to coaching, bet sizing watching your opponents, and also understanding how to bet the bet your hand versus the texture of the board, the strength of your hand, the other, you know, just minute metagame things that are going on too. Mini raise, and he's done this before in position, but this time he checks, and now he bets again from a pair, so that he probably has something like eights or nines. Um, yeah. So, again, you want to know, okay, so he's mini raising in position with those kinds of hands. Good to know. If I've got, some chips and had some room to play, I could probably come back over the top of them and steal a really cheap pot. But I want to establish an image, some kind of image first before I start doing that, because then these guys are just looking for any kind of reason to mix it up. He obviously is a habitual mini raiser, and it's also good to know Forsky's also some control and not come into any kind of pots. Unfortunately, we lose that guy. So sad. So I haven't been very active, so that's perfectly fine. Open button raise, of course. Another easy fold. I'll just fast forward to this next hand. Oh, what happened to my... Oh, this doesn't show my hand when I have a walk. I don't know. Still getting used to this replayer, so... Um, 9-5, obviously going to ditch that to the raise. New player at the table. Jack 3, obviously another easy fold. Ace 7, middle position. I'm not a big fan of those ace little or mid kind of hands from here, even from the cutoff sometimes. I'd really actually have to do some research in Poker Tracker to see how profitable those are, but just my instinct is that they're not super profitable. I mean, it's okay, obviously, to raise that up a good amount from the cutoff, especially, if your button's pretty weak or whatever. That's an auto raise, but it depends a lot. Like right here, I'm not raising it because I know nothing about this guy, and obviously this guy's loose and so on. So it's good that these guys spread out these stacks. So now there's a good amount of money to win between a couple pretty bad players. So 32 and a 46. Now he comes out for 32 and 110 and gets raised, not even close to pot size here. Probably some kind of draw, obviously. Kings, okay, so finally I get some kind of hand. So, interesting. I know what I do in this hand, which is kind of awkward, but he's been opening a pretty wide range here. I elect actually just to flat call his raise. Stack sizes being, around 100 big bets for me. It doesn't really matter what he has because he has me covered. Almost all the time this would be an auto re-raise. I want to get a little bit more in pre-flop against this guy. He hasn't shown a propensity to really call raises, and I'm pretty sure if I re-raise out of position, since I haven't been I haven't been too active, that he'll fold. So I elect just to flat call and just kind of play like a, I'm satisfied to play a medium-ish pot with this guy out of position. I'm pretty confident in what I can do here, but I don't get a very good flop. Obviously, I plan on check calling here, assuming because he's been continuation betting at almost I think about 100%, but he doesn't. And now again, I'm like figure well if I check twice to him, he'll do something. No bet. So now the river is kind of um, I more than likely still have the best hand. I want to get some kind of value, but I can't see him checking anything, like any of these cards here. I'm hoping he hit a 9 or something and will make some kind of stab. Um, and he doesn't, and I just show down this hand. So he ends up having Jack 9. So, I mean, I just wasn't going to get anything in that hand. Um, a little weird. Here, this guy, when you're at the table and you start realizing how people are playing and who the bad players are and so on and so on, like I say over and over, especially when coaching, is you want to make a huge effort to get into pots with these guys. You don't always have to be re-raising and isolating. Here, really, I just have the blinds. This guy's shown a propensity that he'll fold his small blind. So realistically, I could have this three-way with a big drawing hand against the fish and an unknown player. I'd rather have that than trying to re-raise and just isolate him and play a pot that way. So, anyways, it ends up going four-way. Um, kind of an amp flop. Most people, especially at like small and mid stakes, will bet anytime it gets passed to the last player to act. They bet almost like automatically. Um, Here, I believe actually I check, but this is totally fine. Once this is checked twice, I have the gut shot here and everything. Totally fine to bet. Not sure actually 100% why I checked, but obviously now I have the straight, so I'm gonna bet. No one's shown that they're gonna do anything, so I gotta go for a minimal amount of value I can, hoping I get a call from a queen or a king, but I don't. Ace deuce, obviously gonna fold that to the mini raise. So sad, so sad. Ace 10 here from middle position. Perfectly fine to open with also. I'm still kind of working on trying to establish a little bit of an image here, so not opening that yet. Ace 10 again under the gun. Same situation. Hands like that where you have horrible reverse implied odds. And so this size bet is a little more towards the I have a hand size bet, but we don't get to see it. But if I had to guess, he probably has ace jack, ace queen, something on those lines. So that would have been a pot where I would have bet. He maybe would have either three bet me, I would have folded, or he would have just flat called, and I would have, bet the flop and been called and wasted money more or less. Jack 10 to this guy out here. I'm not going to do much yet. I believe I just fold this. Yeah. King 9, not going to play that out of position, of course, to the raise. $28 into a 50 on the turn.